Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
California stands at the precipice of a historic decision that could reshape not only its own societal fabric, but also set a precedent for the nation. The California Reparations Task Force has proposed an ambitious and transformative reparations plan valued at approximately $800 billion. This monumental initiative seeks to address centuries of systemic injustices and economic disparities inflicted upon African Americans, tracing back to the eras of slavery, segregation, and institutionalized discrimination. The proposal has sparked national conversations about justice, accountability, and the economic feasibility of such an endeavor, drawing attention from policymakers, historians, economists, and everyday citizens alike. As the nation watches closely, California's bold steps toward reparative justice could usher in a new chapter in American history, blending acknowledgement of past wrongs with tangible solutions for future equity. The origins of California's Reparations Task Force lie in Assembly Bill 3121, signed into law in 2020 by Governor Gavin Newsom amid the nationwide reckoning with racial injustice. The bill mandated the creation of a task force to study and develop reparations proposals specifically for descendants of enslaved African Americans. The task force's primary objective is to confront the deep-seated inequities rooted in California's own history, despite its status as a free state during the Civil War era. Discriminatory practices, exclusionary laws, redlining, and police violence have left lasting scars on Black communities, and the proposed reparations aim to bridge the persistent wealth and opportunity gaps. At the heart of the task force's recommendation is a comprehensive framework designed to deliver economic justice through various avenues. This includes direct cash payments to eligible African American residents, investments in community infrastructure, housing assistance, educational grants, and healthcare access. The proposed $800 billion budget is not merely a figure, but a calculated estimate grounded in extensive research and historical analysis, attempting to quantify the generational economic harm caused by discriminatory policies and practices. Economists and researchers involved in the task force have detailed how systemic barriers hindered Black wealth accumulation, leading to disparities in homeownership, education, employment, and health outcomes. The economic rationale behind such a substantial figure involves understanding the compounded impact of denied opportunities. For instance, discriminatory housing policies prevented Black families from acquiring property in wealth-generating neighborhoods, leading to a significant racial wealth gap. Likewise, employment discrimination and exclusion from high-paying industries limited income growth. These systemic barriers not only deprived individuals, but also stifled generational wealth transfer. The reparations proposal seeks to rectify these injustices by providing financial restitution and creating pathways for sustainable wealth building within Black communities. However, the proposed reparations plan has encountered both fervent support and staunch opposition. Advocates argue that meaningful reparations are a moral and ethical necessity, essential for healing and justice. They emphasize that reparations are not handouts but rightful compensation for the exploitation and systemic discrimination endured by Black Americans. Supporters also highlight the potential economic benefits of such an investment, suggesting that stimulating Black wealth could lead to broader economic growth and community revitalization. On the other hand, critics question the feasibility and fairness of the proposal. Concerns about funding such a massive initiative dominate the discourse, with opponents arguing that California's budget cannot accommodate such expenditures without significant tax increases or reallocations from other critical sectors. Others challenge the idea of holding current taxpayers accountable for historical injustices perpetrated by past generations. There's also debate over eligibility criteria, with discussions centered on who qualifies for reparations and how lineage and historical connection to slavery are determined. Navigating these complex dynamics requires careful consideration and inclusive dialogue. The task force has proposed various funding mechanisms, including wealth taxes, corporate taxes, and budget reallocations, to finance the reparations plan. They argue that targeted taxes on the wealthiest Californians and large corporations could generate substantial revenue without overburdening the general population. Additionally, long-term investments in Black communities could yield economic dividends, potentially offsetting initial costs. The implementation of such a plan also demands robust infrastructure and governance to ensure transparency, accountability, and effectiveness. The task force has recommended establishing dedicated agencies to manage fund distribution, community investments, and program oversight. These agencies would work in collaboration with Black community leaders, economists, and legal experts to tailor programs that address specific needs and ensure the equitable distribution of resources. This structure aims to prevent mismanagement and build public trust in the reparations process. Moreover, the task force underscores the importance of non-monetary reparations alongside financial compensation. Initiatives such as curriculum reforms to include comprehensive African American history, public memorials, and the renaming of public spaces serve as symbolic yet powerful acknowledgments of historical wrongs. These measures, combined with economic reparations, are intended to foster a holistic approach to justice and reconciliation. California's reparations proposal also raises broader questions about national responsibility and the potential ripple effects across the United States. If successful, this initiative could inspire other states and even the federal government to explore reparations programs. Historical precedents, such as the U.S. government's reparations to Japanese Americans interned during World War II, provide a framework for how reparations can be administered effectively. Yet, the scale and complexity of addressing slavery and systemic racism present unique challenges. As the debate continues, it becomes clear that California's reparations proposal is more than a fiscal policy. It is a profound statement about values, accountability, and the pursuit of justice. It forces society to grapple with uncomfortable truths and consider how the past continues to shape present inequalities. The path forward requires balancing moral imperatives with practical solutions, ensuring that reparations not only address historical harm but also pave the way for a more equitable future. In conclusion, California's proposed $800 billion reparations plan stands as a bold and necessary step toward rectifying centuries of injustice against African Americans. It embodies both the complexities and the possibilities of reparative justice in America. As the state deliberates on this unprecedented proposal, the nation watches with anticipation, recognizing that the outcome could redefine the conversation around race, justice, and economic equity for generations to come. The journey toward reparations is undoubtedly fraught with challenges, but it is also filled with the promise of healing, restoration, and the hope of a more just society.